Hello and welcome to another episode of In the Know. I'm Mark Crosby of Quincy Access Television. Thank you so much for joining me and my guest. My guest is Norfolk County Sheriff Patrick McDermott. Welcome back, Pat. Good to see you.
Thank you as always. I think we're at episode 58, 59. I don't
I've
know.
lost count.
We got to close in so we can have a big celebration when we hit 100. So
Absolutely. I'll have to check the numbers.
there we go.
Let's talk about what's going on. These shows are really updates about what's going on in the sheriff's office.
Yeah, in summertime doesn't really slow down for us in all of our operations, both our day-to-day operations at the jail, but also our community engagement experiences that we have for people. So today, I want to talk a little bit about the summer activities that are going on, and then a little bit of a preview maybe as to what we're doing in the fall, because a lot of activities just roll right into the fall. And the big news is, right off the top, is that we had to reschedule our Recovery Fest. We had put a lot of work into putting together a fantastic family-friendly day in Braintree. But as many people as the viewers will remember, May and June, the June glooms were going on. And so weekends in June were pretty rough. And so we were unfortunately wiped out. It was the same day as the city of Quincy had an event, but it was the Flag Day event. It was June 14th.
Right.
And so I was talking to the mayor at one point, and his team was monitoring the weather just as much as we were. And unfortunately for us, our event was held 11 to 3, and the bulk of the storm was coming right there. Luckily for Flag Day in Quincy, it went off without a hitch. The storms had cleared, but unfortunately for us, we had to postpone our event. But like anything else, the sun comes out and shines, and we're hoping that Mother Nature will shine upon us on September 13th, which is Saturday in September down at our Braintree Public Safety Complex.
And let's talk about what folks can experience that day.
So we are putting together a full day of activities. The main attraction will be the entertainment that we have with some real famous folks, at least famous within certain music genres. We get our MC of the day is a gentleman by the name known as Mathematics, and he's quite an inspirational character and in the music industry. And we're also featuring Christian Champagne and the Kind Souls, which is another band that very active in the recovery community. One band near and dear to myself is The Glow, which is my son's band, which is great. We're going to be hosting a zip line for the day for families to participate in. Our tactical picnic unit will be involved with food, and we've got a cornhole tournament coming up on that day. So it's really a day of family-friendly activity, all to celebrate the recovery community. We'll have a lot of resources available there that day with some of our nonprofit partners who will be at the tables and giving away information for both families and individuals who are going through recovery. So we stress it. It's really about the families. Get in there, bring your family and friends, and celebrate. It's a struggle in the recovery community, and they'll say that every day is a new day, and that's why tomorrow is a new opportunity. So recovery is something that we focus on in the sheriff's office. We wanted to celebrate those that are going through the recovery commitment that they've put forth for their life, and we also want to encourage other people who might be out there struggling, thinking about it. Come down and avail yourself of some fun, but some resources that we have on the table.
And it's all free.
All free. All free. Come one, come all.
And it's presented by the Hope Center for folks that aren't aware of the Hope Center.
So yeah, right at our Braintree Public Safety Complex is also the home of Hope. And our Hope Center, which stands for Healing, Opportunity, Purpose, and Engagement, started out to be our recovery center, our reentry center from folks coming out of jail, but it's really served become a one-stop shop for anybody that's going through some struggles in life, whether it's losing a job, food insecurity, economic insecurity, needing some work skill development. We have a full-service team at the Hope Center that people can help themselves to what services they might need. And it's largely been something that I put together as an opportunity for a continuum of care for people coming out of the jail so that they stay on the right track, but also for people that may be going through some of those difficulties in life, because we have seen both academic research as well as just knowledge of it. When people struggle in life, they make desperate decisions sometimes, and that oftentimes leads into criminal behavior, whether it's dealing drugs, doing drugs, stealing, all those things lead. So we want to make sure that there's a place that people can go that provides hope for them, that they're not in the struggle alone. There's plenty of opportunities for them to get assistance.
So many programs that the Sheriff's Office is involved in involves veterans.
Yes.
So many. Let's talk about a very successful Veterans Appreciation Cookout.
Yeah, we've been evolving like our interaction with our veterans groups over the last several years. And, you know, we have direct contact with the local veteran service officers, and we celebrated them about a year ago. We had a little luncheon for them and talking about some of the programs we wanted to launch for the veterans. And then this year we said, you know, let's expand this. Let's work with the VSO, not only just to celebrate them, but let's put the word out to veterans across Norfolk County to come and enjoy a day. You know, in my household, I've said it a million times too. You know, I was raised by a World War II veteran, and somebody that appreciated his service and made sure that his sons and his family recognized that a day of service, that Veterans Affairs are something that don't just occur once a year. That's something we celebrate all the time. We want to recognize the service. So we did that, and we had a couple of hundred folks show up, which was great, veterans and their families. And we just had an amazing day. You know, we had the food there, we had the band, the Glow once again, who's becoming kind of our go-to in-house band, I think, these days. Performed for the veterans, and everybody. The feedback we got was great. The one thing that we want to make sure of for next year, and my good friend Jeanette from Weymouth came. She's a very huge advocate of Gold Star families, and similar, I guess, to Abigail Adams saying to John, "Remember the ladies." Jeanette said to the sheriff, "Remember the Gold Star families." And to her point, we said, "Duly noted." And that'll be on our agenda for future events to make sure that the Gold Star families are recognized.
Very good. Good to hear. Let's talk about this year's first Norfolk County Unsung Hero.
And, you know, this was a program that we started when I first became sheriff, and we kind of fell a little bit off the radar over the last year or so, and so we wanted to revive it. And what better place did we do it than the Veterans Cookout? And we invited young Zoe Crossman, an incredible young girl, recognized as our newest unsung hero for her work to support veterans housing in Norfolk County and beyond. And so Zoe is a 9-year-old little girl, makes jewelry, specifically earrings. And over Memorial Day weekend, she announced plans to donate $1 for every pair of earrings that she sold to Homes for Our Troops. And Homes for Our Troops is, for those that don't know, is a nonprofit that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. And so young little Zoe raised, through her jewelry program, $2,200 with matching donations then from ABC Supply. Zoe was able to then donate a total of $4,500 to Homes for Our Troops. A young girl making a difference. So anybody that has excuses and says, "What can I do? Who am I?" Zoe Crossman is a great example of a young girl that had an idea her passion for jewelry. How can I help somebody, and turned around and donated that money to the veterans.
Do you know how she came up with the idea?
I think, like every other, little girl out there that starts crafts and starts putting things together, and her mom is very involved, and I think her family's involved with veterans groups, and I think Zoe, like I, as a kid raised in a family that supports veterans, and so I think probably on her own she just says, what can I do to make a difference in a veteran's life? And she saw the Home for Our Heroes program as a great way to do that.
And at such a young age.
Oh, 9 years old. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's just there's such great things going on throughout the communities, but when you see the youth engaged in these things, that just melts your heart.
And I think if you just take what her plan was and what she was able to donate and see how it blossomed into
Absolutely.
a huge donation,
Yep.
really.
And she's excited about
difference.
expanding it. And you expose somebody, especially at her age, with a little taste of success and accolades and recognition. That girl is going to be inspired to do great things.
She must have been. She was
thrilled. She was thrilled. We gave her a little citation, and her family was all there. So it was really, really great moment.
Congratulations to Zoe. Let's talk about Well, it is summer. It's hot. You had mentioned the spring had a lot of rain.
Yes.
Now, in fact, we have a lot of heat. Folks are heading to the beaches. They're heading to pools. Let's talk about some
Summer
safety.
safety issues. So yeah, for me, one quick summer safety tip that I'll say personally, I see a lot of, I bike around Quincy a lot in a lot of Norfolk County towns. So I'm training for the Pan Mass Challenge again this year, 34 years in the Pan Mass Challenge. So we're getting all excited to raise some money for the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. So I'm out in the biking and biking in the heat. So I can the first little tidbit to tell everybody is stay hydrated. You know, I know it when I'm training to make sure I'm hydrated consistently because of the sweat, and we don't even know it. You can be dehydrated very quickly.
Don't wait till you're thirsty, because then it's too late.
You should always have a water bottle available on days that the heat is coming. And this summer is no different. We're consistently July, August, and sometimes even into September. It's consistently, there's the heat waves that'll come through. Stay hydrated is a big thing. And then secondly, you know, as we move off of that, tragically, this summer also comes with tragedy. And it's a recent incident that tragically occurred in Brockton. A 4-year-old boy drowned at an incident at his home. So we're thinking about Hendrix Cooley Walker and his family. Tremendous tragedy and loss for them. And we've seen other drownings and near drownings around Norfolk County. Not just, you know, we are a coastal community in Norfolk County, but we also have a lot of ponds and lakes in the area as well. So tragedies like this can happen very quickly and unbeknownst to people around them. And so we always recommend for folks, especially if you have a pool, for instance, safety codes, usually every municipality requires a pool be fenced in. So even if there wasn't a requirement, there's some towns that don't have that requirement, you ought to, as a homeowner, make sure that pool is fenced in, make sure it's locked appropriately. Kids are very crafty. They see something floating in the water. They want to sneak into the pool and grab that ball or that toy. And tragically, they can fall right in. And so always make sure that your pool is secure. That's it should be common sense, but those are the tragedies we hear about. And also, always have an adult as the watcher. You know, and these events can happen even when there's a gathering, when you're having a family cookout, and you have a pool in the backyard, especially if you have a deep end. There's a lot of kids in the pool. Sometimes you're not going to be able to see what's going on at the bottom of that deep end. So always have an adult sits there as the watcher of the kids. Just rotate it through.
Because there can be so many distractions.
Always. You know, that's the thing. It's a festive occasion, usually at a family house. So just make sure that everybody's always there, making sure that that there's somebody watching at all times.
You and I had a conversation about the beach before the show began, and the dangers of riptides. You were caught in.
I was caught in a riptide in Bermuda, my daughter and I, and your safety knowledge kicks in a little bit about, you know, swim parallel or just ride the riptide. And that's what I did with Alana when she was, I think, maybe 4 or 5 years old. And but they are scary. They happen very quickly. And if you get caught in a riptide, you have to swim parallel to the shoreline to try to get out of the riptide. Don't try to swim against it, because the churning of the tide will eventually suck you under. Oftentimes, depending on where you are, you could hit your head on a rock. You could just get overwhelmed and tragically drown. You see that happen quite a bit. And as we said, the reason why we were talking about is obviously as older folks, you know, growing up in the 80s, we remember Malcolm Jamal Walker, who played Theo Huxtable. And tragically, he's 55 years old and was with his family and drowned in Costa Rica. And so once again, those tragedies occur. You just got to be prepared for it, and don't panic if in fact you're in a riptide. You do have to either, I always say, ride it out if you're not comfortable swimming parallel to it. If you, in your head, sometimes am I supposed to swim parallel and perpendicular? What is that? Is parallel up and down or left and right? And so I always say ride it out. It will push you probably far away from shore, but at some point the tide will stop.
And don't panic.
Don't panic. You know, calm. And usually a riptide is well known in a location, in a particular area on a beach. Hopefully there are lifeguards available that can be participatory and get you back closer to shore.
And that's a good point, because folks may be familiar with the area in which they live, but if they vacation to Costa Rica or Jamaica, they may not be aware.
So just be aware of those things. And I just say too, if you have young kids, you make sure you have, you know, first aid classes that you've taken. at least first response. So if God forbid there's a tragedy, you'll at least be able to get the water out of the lungs, start breathing, and chest compressions in the event that there's a cardiac moment. But YMCA's, local community pools, have lessons for kids as young as I've seen kids 6 months, a year old. And it's amazing how they train babies in water. And it's a very simple solution about they train the baby naturally to get on their back, and they kick their legs, and it's amazing and they show them how to kick their legs to the point they can get to the side of the pool. And so as young as 1 year old, I've seen kids have
And I think
techniques.
starting at that age is great for the lack of fear that children have.
Absolutely.
I think if you later on, folks tend to develop fears of this and fears of that. At that age, that's a great starting point to really understand and respect, in this case, water.
Yep, and I was blessed because my grandparents had a pool at their house, and all of my relatives were all a couple of aunts that, at least they probably weren't certified swim instructors, but they took it upon themselves. My great aunts always took pride in taking all of the grandchildren through that pool at the youngest of ages and teaching us how to swim. And I was blessed to have them, but if you don't have the things that I had, look into the local community pools or your YMCAs and get a lesson for those kids.
Staying with the topic of safety, let's talk about Summer Safety Fest, this time in Sharon.
This time in Sharon, Sharon has become our staple event. It's our signature event. It's right in the middle of the county. We try to do a couple of public safety events every year, and we try to rotate it around. But Sharon has become a great place to do it because it's centrally located. Everybody in the area, if you don't know it from this broadcast, check it out. Shameless promotion but they're great. The Crescent Ridge Dairy on Saturday, August 9th. We're going to be down there. We're once again going to be having some food available there from the Tactical Picnic Unit again, but ice cream you pay for, and it's well worth every penny at Crescent Ridge. But it runs from 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. We have local police departments there, particularly our friends in Sharon. We got community organizations that are backing us up and help us out. We're going to have an interactive display with our canine and other safety demonstrations. We're going to try to have our drone unit there as well. For the kids, the bouncy houses, the touch-a-truck. Kids can go up and close on the police vehicles, fire trucks. It really is a great location for this event, and we really can make it big because it's the Crescent Ridge Dairy Farm there. There's usually some livestock there. The kids, if they want to see the cows or the goats and everything. Great time had by all. It's located at 407 Bay Road in Sharon, and that ice cream to die for.
I'm looking at my script, and it mentions free burgers and dogs.
Yes.
Those are hot dogs.
Those are hot dogs, yes. I'm hoping it's not hot enough because we want to make sure that the canines are properly lubricated for that moment. And I know Cleo might be there. My dog, my comfort dog, will probably make an appearance there this year.
How are the comfort dogs doing? There are two.
So we have one that's in semi-retirement right now, and then you have Cleopatra that is taking up the mantle. So she made her appearance on the Zip Trip here in Quincy with Fox 25 on their annual summer Zip Trip. So she made a splash at that, and she's been making the rounds at our youth activities camp, and then as well as with our veterans.
Now she's signing autographs.
I know she has her own Instagram page and everything. Call her
How about that?
Canine Cleo.
Let's talk about moving now into September and some upcoming events.
So yeah, once again, back with our veterans. I think there's a veteran theme every month when we chat, and that's a good thing. I'm proud of that. So September 6th. We're going to be hosting our normal House to House for Heroes program. This time we're going to be in Stoughton. We're always looking for volunteers to come out. So no matter where you are, you don't have to be from Stoughton. If you're supportive of veterans, come join us on September 6th. We're going to be getting together at the VFW Post, 1645 on Seaver Street in Stoughton. We get together about 9 o'clock in the morning. We have a little kickoff to the event with the volunteers, and then we send those volunteers out to the veterans. We basically go door to door, house to house, providing those packets for individuals. And the response we get back from the veterans is overwhelmingly positive. They're very grateful for it. And those volunteers that come out, the stories that they bring back are really heartwarming. And it's a civics lesson for some, especially when the young kids or the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, the football team, they're out there helping us out. It's a lesson for those kids that they might not often get the full story in school. When you talk to a veteran, and most of our veterans we're visiting now are mostly from the Vietnam era, some Korean, very rare do we see a World War II veteran, but you can hear the tales of our veterans. They don't often tell the stories, and I've advocated, you've got to tell the next generation the value of service, what the sacrifice is all about, and how much of an honor it is to serve, and the benefits that they're afforded. And that's what we're
that's
here
just
to do.
it, because sometimes, probably many times, they don't take advantage of the benefits. They don't know about the benefits.
Yep, they don't know, and sometimes there is a syndrome with veterans coming home that they feel as though that they don't deserve it, or that they're supposed to be tough and they're not supposed to need those benefits, and because they were trained to protect us and our freedoms while away fighting wars off. And so when they come home, it's almost like it's a stigma that if they can't take care of themselves, that they have failed in their mission. And so it's a tragic syndrome that a lot of veterans go through. And we just want to remind them that, look, the sacrifices that you stepped up and helped us, you've earned these benefits, and we want you to have them. And so the fact that they know about them is half the battle. And then the veteran service officer, we make sure that individual's name is in the packet, and so that that veteran-to-veteran contact, that peer-to-peer relationship, is what usually creates the success of this program. I've never served. A lot of the volunteers have never served, and so we can't necessarily relate. We can appreciate, but we can't relate. But when you have other veterans helping out, and they know that those services are available, then it's a successful program, and that's the feedback we're getting.
Congratulations on starting up that program.
Thank you. It's been great.
The Norfolk County Sheriff's Office is looking for men and women to join.
Yes, there's a lot of turnover in law enforcement these days, and a lot of people coming and going. And we had a big hiring. I would say that probably it's probably about 25 to 30 years ago, because I'm noticing all the retirements that are coming up now. And so it's very difficult for us to be recruiting in competition with local law enforcement, state police, environmental police. Everybody's hiring, FBI. And so we want to carve out an opportunity for people to come to work for the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office, a great career opportunity for those interested in joining the law office community. And the Sheriff's Office is unique because we touch 28 towns in Norfolk County. We have a house of correction where we need corrections officers to start to come in, learn de-escalation tactics, learn how to work with mental health issues, with substance use disorder. That's the vast majority of the men that we have incarcerated. So we need men and women who are ready to learn, jump into law enforcement, and the other opportunities that present themselves as they build a career. We have specialty units. We have partnerships with the FBI, with the DEA. We've got those federal partnerships. We've got state task force that our officers are on. When you get your added training, you qualify to be deputized as a deputy sheriff. We provide the largest amount of security details around Norfolk County in partnership with our local police. And so once our deputy sheriffs, who are fully post-certified, which means they've been trained by the Municipal Police Training Academy, post-certified by the commission, that these are fully fledged they are peace officers that have police powers. So these individuals augment what the local police chiefs are doing in their community. So we work road details, we do the security at Gillette Stadium, and this is an exciting adventure. People have opportunities if you're interested in our motorcycle unit, our mountain bike unit, our canine unit, our drones, our Metrolec partnership that gets you on the SWAT team. There's a lot of great opportunities for individuals. And that's just our security crew. We're also looking for clinicians, mental health clinicians, nurses, teachers, caseworkers. So go to the norfolksheriff.com website, check out our human resources, our job available page. And I think, if my HR team informs me correctly, there's a generic download of an application that you can fill out just if you have a general interest in working with the sheriff's office. We'll reach out to you, set you up for an informational interview, and then and hopefully get you on your way to build a great career, pension, health care, opportunity to make well over $100,000 a year.
Very good. As we close, I do want to bring to light another successful program of the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office. And I say successful because it wasn't too long ago we heard about a SAVE, and that's the Are You OK program.
Yes.
Talk about how folks can get signed up.
Yeah, you want to go, you can go to our website once again and check out norfolksheriff.com. Go to our Are You OK program. It's listed under, I think it's listed under our outreach programs. Great program that reaches out to individuals on a day-to-day basis who sign up, who might be living alone at home. Usually it's seniors, but it doesn't have to be a senior. But it's an insurance policy. It checks in every day at a designated time of your choice, and it's a simple check-in, are you okay? And when the responses we get back are, yes, I'm fine, everything's fine, great, we move on. But it's the people that don't respond to the call, we take action. We're able to kick in first responders, call family members to know that we didn't hear from Mark today, and we're concerned. And usually we've had several of those saves over the course of my tenure as sheriff and prior to me being here. It's a program that saves lives. Go on our website, find the information. You can sign up on that with Officer Cheryl Bambury. And we really want to boost up the program. If you're living at home, please sign up for the program.
I think I have time to just drop one more subject in, just briefly talk about the Youth Leadership Academy, and I guess the summer program has happened in Braintree.
So we rolled out. Braintree started up in June, right after school started. School ended, and we've been rolling every week since. I think we've got 2 more weeks into August that we'll wrap things up. But we also have our camp up in Medway as well, a little shorter segment to that. We didn't do the full summer, but we still have an active camp in Medway. I wanted to bring the programs to that part of the county. Hundreds of kids have gone through the program. We get consistent accolades. We've redeveloped some of the curriculum that we're doing. We've augmented it, and we've made it 10x better than it was. Great before. It's greater now. We've got a great team of people working as counselors, peer leaders. A lot of the folks that start out as campers go on to volunteer a couple of weeks a year in high school to learn some of the leadership qualities they need. And when they become 18 and graduate or in college, we'll hire them full-time for the summer. And we've watched the development of a young kid going through our own curriculum, then starting to learn how to teach it and then actually teach it. And the stories we get from the families are fantastic. It's very good. We still have a couple of openings here or there. So if you want to sign up, once again, go to our website, norfolksheriff.com. Check under our youth programs. There's an email or a phone number that you can call there. See if there's a spot available for your child. It's all for middle school kids, usually 5th through 8th grade.
Very good. Successful half-hour program.
I love it.
I think a lot of information. Thank you so much, Sheriff, for joining me.
Stay
for
cool
joining
out
me.
there.
Absolutely, but not only joining me, but joining all the centers in Norfolk County, all the residents that watch local access TV, and certainly can see our program as well on YouTube.
Very good.
Till next time.
Cut it down. I like it.
Thank you so much for watching, and please remember to support those local access stations that I had just mentioned. Please stay safe. Enjoy the rest of the summer.